Across the cosmos there lived a race known only as the Time Lords. This race had told the universe that they would not interfere in the lives and affairs of other beings. But now they find themselves in peril on their own plane of existence, when an old renegade of their people decides to turn home. Who else should they send to deter him from his evil schemes than his own opposite? Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's Doctor Who review is The Deadly Assassin, which is why I done that really awkward bit of dialogue at the beginning of this. But what is The Deadly Assassin about? Well, the Doctor has been recalled to Gallifrey. He has left Sarah Jane Smith on Earth after pretty much leaving her in the wrong place. But as he arrives on Gallifrey, he begins to get an unnerving feeling that something isn't quite right. And after seeing hallucinations of an assassination that hasn't quite taken place yet, the Doctor finds himself soon being accused of murder. The Doctor then soon discovers that his old enemy, the Master, has returned to Gallifrey, not only to assassinate the President of the High Council and get the Doctor framed for murder, but to take the seal of Rassilon and essentially rise above the Time Lords and eradicate them. However, the Master is dying. His body is slowly but surely decaying. So it's about a race against time. The only way for the Doctor to destroy him once and for all is to go into the Matrix and stop his evil schemes. However, the Doctor doesn't really realise until he gets inside of the Matrix how much control the Master truly has. The Master begins to play the Doctor's fears against him: needles, injections, falling down a cliff, and most importantly, getting stuck on a railway line. This adaptation of the Deadly Assassin has two kind of halves to it, I should point out. Now, due to broadcasting issues in the original broadcast, there was a bit cut from a bit of the story in which the Doctor essentially gets drowned. However, in the DVD edition, it is still subtly there. But essentially, there's this really beautiful bit in the story in which the Doctor has this massive cliffhanger of him almost getting run over by a train. However, when he begins to deny the illusions, the Master's power begins to slip. The Master, still clinging to life and being broken out of the Matrix, begins to go around shrinking people in the capital in order to get what he wants. He tries to go to the Eye of Harmony in hopes that it will be able to resurrect him fully, but instead he falls inside of it and finds himself at a loss for words. The Doctor is then pardoned of all charges and essentially goes back into his time machine for another adventure in time and space. So, what did I think of The Deadly Assassin? Well, personally, I can't lie, it is one of my favourite Tom Baker stories. Why? Because the way that it plays with the mind so much is the absolute fantastic essence of this story. I mean, The Matrix is something that isn't in any other story up until this point in this era, but then essentially it becomes a really big foundation for the modern era of Doctor Who and later stories. I mean, there's Time Flight, which The Matrix is used in. There's The Timeless Children. The Matrix, a kind of restoration of all the dead people of Gallifrey and also all of their history and knowledge, is so immensely brilliant that I love how convoluted its concept can be. The fact that it's also a kind of a mind space. It's a place between the mind in which people can either find what they're looking for or be chased around endlessly and find themselves The other thing I think was a brilliant story with The Matrix, I think, if I'm, please correct me in the comments, but I think the Sixth Doctor story, The Final Foe, all of these stories as a whole have a combination, but I definitely feel like the basis of the introduction to The Matrix is solidly done in The Deadly Assassin. And for that reason, I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Doctor Who review. Until then, have an incredible morning, you beautiful people.